With 2025 just around the corner, I think it's about time that we start thinking about what are going to be the trends we're going to be seeing in 2025. We're going to share about some things we're implementing for our clients and which things you can also implement on your own websites. And if you stay until the end, you might get some free stuff. So let's dive straight into it. First part is content optimization and personalization. And I feel like we personally test these things first on our website, then on our clients' websites, and then we give these tips out to you. So what we started to test out mostly like in Q4 and we're going to be testing out over the next year is Webflow Optimized as a platform. We're using it as first A/B testing just to try to identify how are we going to create multiple different versions of the pages in order to increase the conversions. And then on the other side, which is even more interesting, is how can we leverage AI and like artificial intelligence into our websites with personalization. This way I feel like it's going to be a huge push for websites to become more of an experience platform rather than just static websites. And I do strongly recommend you researching A/B testing tools, experimentation tools, personalization tools, and like maybe Webflow is going to be a platform and kind of Webflow Optimize and Analyze are going to be two tools you're going to be using to test a lot of different things and gather data from it. But in general, I do see this being a huge trend with AI coming to the market, and that more and more websites are going to be optimized with AI, and that we're going to be serving different content to different user groups based on where they're coming from, which industries they're on, etc., etc. The next part is, of course, again, AI. I do feel like that SEO is going to take a huge hit, like in many different ways because of AI. We've seen like Google releasing its own AI features, and that most of the searches on Google are first going to get an AI response. We've seen people using ChatGPT for responses as well. And I do strongly believe the SEO is also going to change with time. So maybe the most basic terms we were trying to rank for, like what is Webflow, or kind of maybe what is something else, or like kind of the low-hanging fruit of keywords, which were pretty easy to rank for, honestly, on our websites, are slowly probably going to be changed with AI and replaced by AI answers. So this is going to probably take a huge hit for some of the websites which have generated a lot of content with AI and which don't have really specific domain expertise. And I do feel like this is good. It's going to take out most of the generic content. It's going to be served with AI or ChatGPT. And like if you have really good domain expertise and if you're really actually providing value in your blogs, articles, and like resources or whatever you're publishing on your website, people are probably gonna go into more detail on your website to go ahead and search for different opinion, or like they're not gonna trust the Google's answer like on some more complex topics, and they're gonna wanna read a few blogs on the topic in order to get notified or dive deeper when they search on ChatGPT. And we've personally seen this. I mean, like some of those generic terms on our website are taking a hit slowly from an SEO standpoint. And on the other side, we also started getting traffic from ChatGPT, which is, I mean, like everybody's talking about like SEO is gonna be dead and nobody's gonna be using SEO, whatever. We're just adding another way for people to search, and that way is ChatGPT. And we just need to figure out more and more ways of how can we be the top choice when top ChatGPT searches for our website, and how can people be interested to actually dive deeper into the topics. So I see website traffic getting less and less relevant for companies which have been just using AI to generate as much as content possible, and it's gonna become even a bigger powerhouse for companies which were investing into real actionable, knowledgeable, human-like blogs, which give out specific opinions, which give out like domain expertise, and which solve a lot more complex problems in the end. On the other side, the next thing is like websites which have faster loading times, I mean load times less than 3 seconds, retain 53% more users. So of course, optimizations of the website and the actual technical optimizations of the website are going to become more and more important. You have more and more companies competing for the global market. The attention span, which is like 3 seconds right now, or like even less sometimes than that. Websites are not becoming just like a thing you build like on the side or you invest on the side. It's becoming a thing you need to look at from a holistic perspective and invest a lot more money, because like the buyers are getting more and more educated, and they're gonna also look at you as a company and your brand by kind of how fast does your website rank and kind of how well your website is optimized. There are multiple different things you can do here. Is like ensure you have a good hosting provider, ensure the platform you're using. I mean, like personally, we're using Webflow. There are honestly like other platforms which can do pretty good in terms of load times. Try to reduce the amount of scripts you're using on the website in terms of tracking, and just track your website speed in the end. Because my personal goal, like with a company or with anything that I'm doing personally, is like whatever you don't track, you're not gonna be able to improve. If you never tested your website speed, I suggest going to PageSpeed Insights, testing your website speed, and just seeing where you are. If you're like above 3 seconds or like you're not passing the website speed test, that's a good starting point. I mean, at least that you know how fast is your website and that you can slowly start improving that as you move on. The next thing is like more investments into the UX of the websites. Studies show that 88% of people do not come back to a website if they have a bad experience browsing the website itself. And like, I guess as it's 2025, that's reasonable, because if they cannot find something on your website, there's probably a competitor's website that is maybe structured in an easier way for them to be able to find behind it that has like a more relevant message, or in general that is more pleasant to use like on a day-to-day basis. So again, as more and more companies are getting online and are investing a lot more into their websites, it's important for you to understand what's your menu structure, what's your footer structure, which pages you actually have on your website. And this is something that we focus the most when we build websites at Flow Ninja. Our studio is like understanding your business goals, and then also going through a discovery phase to try to understand what is the easiest ways your users can understand your company. Because I see so many companies creating thousands and thousands and thousands of pages, which then become pretty clunky and pretty hard to use. In the end, like you just confuse your user, they don't have no idea what you do, or you seem that you're jack of all trades but master of none. And in the end, they just proceed with a subject matter expert with a company which maybe specifically solves just their problem. So like if you haven't thought about like your UX, ensure that you're not investing just that your website looks nice, but you're also going through a discovery phase to try to understand how to position the pages, and you have a less is better approach where you're gonna try to explain something with less pages instead of with more. Switching to low-code website development solutions is the next trend. I mean, like hopefully in 2025, building a new website or building new pages on the website is gonna be as easy as assembling IKEA furniture. I mean, of course, it's gonna take time, but like anybody in your marketing team should be able to build new marketing pages, new landing pages, to create new optimization tests, and in general to have a website which can be iterated on a weekly, on a monthly basis, and not something you forget like on your shelf. I mean, you have great examples here. So like personally, again, like we're a Webflow agency, so like we're gonna push that Webflow is the best. I mean, like you can hate me for that, but like I do personally think that it's the best, and that's why I'm saying it. Like if I was not thinking that it's the best platform ever, I would not say that. But it's not the best for everybody. Again, like if you're a fast growing company, like which has maybe more than like 50 to 100 employees, then like considering Webflow and like more kind of robust platforms is gonna be the right choice for you. If you're under that and you're just starting your business, the probability of you using maybe a platform as complex as that is probably not gonna be high, because you might not need all the features that the platform has. So in that case, you can use, I mean, like WordPress, the old known, like Framer, and many of the other platforms which are really good also, like if you're just starting out or if you have a smaller business. But the important thing is like that in 2025, you wanna move as far away as possible from headless solutions and from real complex and technical solutions which require your developers to work on the website. And like the moment you move to that, that's the moment when you're gonna start getting an edge on your competitors, and you're gonna be able to test more things, more messages, and in the end, get better results. The next part is the shift on how you do content strategy after all. Google has the EEAT score, and that's what I live by. I mean, like you have expertise, you have experience, you have authority, and you have trustworthiness. And like if you provide general content, it's gonna be pretty hard to tell to Google, hey, we're the experts, like in your EEAT score. That's a hard word to say. With that, I do strongly believe that like you should focus on your website by thinking on how you can actually provide value. I'm always thinking of if we should create a single resource that is the best resource on Flow Ninja, what would that be? How can we create it? And how can we ensure that whoever kind of downloads that resource actually gets the benefits from it? Because I do see your website as being a store, and like being a store of credibility or like trustworthiness or whatever, how you want to say it. And like you have a war chest and which is empty, and if a customer comes in and gets something for free first time, he's getting filled a little bit more with trustworthiness for your brand. Then they download a few more resources, then it gets filled up a little bit more. Maybe they download a free video course or something like that, which is completely for free for them to learn. You're gonna fill up your war chest a little bit more. And with time, they're gonna be confident enough that like, hey, if Flow Ninja or like your company help me out, learn, in our case, maybe what is Webflow? Is Webflow the best platform for us? Help me out to identify my marketing budget, help me out to scope out the whole project, figure out kind of the discovery session, kind of how can I position my website project for success. They must also do a good job. So let me go ahead and schedule a call with them. And I feel like it's becoming a bigger and bigger battle of which company is gonna give out the most amount of stuff for free to their customers, and that stuff actually needs to be good. So like I see a bigger shift like in terms of the content strategy for people creating more and more expensive free resources which actually provide value for free to the customers in order to fill up that war chest so that the customer can actually start using their product in the end. The next thing is, I mean, like UGC, user-generated content and social proof. We try to create as many webinars as possible. We try to create as many testimonials as possible. I mean, like case studies with clients. And in general, just to showcase that we're not like an AI created website or a made up company or something like that. In today's world, everybody's telling you, hey, we're the best.
We really are the best.
And by leveraging videos and user generated content, we try to showcase to our clients on why are we different? Why are we different than all these companies? And why is that different, maybe better for you and better for your company to work with the different part? It's getting harder and harder to compete on price. It's getting harder and harder to compete that you're the best out ever. So I think competing on different is really good, and showcasing your customers actually talking about your process and talking about how was your process different than all of the other companies that we're working with is a really good thing to have in your chest and to kind of just use on your website in many different areas, and just leverage that video content, webinar content, case study content to showcase how different was the process with you and why would that customer choose you again into the future. The next thing we see is integrated AI chatbots. And this is a hard topic for me because honestly, I hate chatbots because if they're not integrated well, they're the worst thing your company can have, like the worst possible thing for your customer experience. But on the other side, if you start investing into the chatbots right now, you might have the best possible chatbot long term. And I strongly believe that like adding a chatbot to your website can also increase your conversions by a huge amount, but you still need to keep it personal. So my suggestion is like, try to feed the chatbot with as much information you have, like just to give it like proper answers and just to build a really large knowledge hub. And to start investing into that right now to build like a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger knowledge hub of the questions your chatbot can answer, but also ensure that people can actually talk to people. I'm into AI, I'm into everything, but in the end, we're humans and we like working with humans. And that's why I think that you should not just say, hey, we have a chatbot, we're gonna fire our support team and we're gonna make it as hard as possible for people to reach out to us. For me, that's like the best way to ruin your brand, but try to use best of both worlds. I mean, like feed your chatbot with a lot of data, continuously feed it with more data so it becomes better at answers, but also make it easy for people to reach out directly to some of your support staff, customer support staff, account executives, like if you're doing B2B sales, to ensure that you have a balance between those two, and that again, you're feeling the war chest, and that you're not a company so distant from everybody else that nobody can talk to you. And now, the final part is website security. I mean, again, like as more and more people get online, more and more people are trying to break your stuff. So it's really important to understand that whatever you're building, that you're also securing it. I like to say that the website is the only thing you actually own, like because like Instagram can turn off your Instagram profile, YouTube can turn off your YouTube profile, a Google search can maybe shadow ban you and like you're not showing up on Google, and like maybe even the two things you own are like your email addresses, like on your email, and the website. And like the website is the only public facing thing that you need actually to get your emails like on the other side. So just because of that, I strongly suggest that you focus on your website, that you focus on securing it and ensuring that nobody can break in, because when somebody does break in, it doesn't feel good. And I mean, there have been cases of VP engineering and WordPress and like some situations there. It's just about like, if you're on WordPress, ensure that you have a good hosting provider, that you know that you're secure and that you're not gonna fall into any of the problems with the current drama or whatever. Or on the other side, like if you're on Webflow, ensure you have two-factor authentication set up, or maybe even opt-in for the enterprises, like Okta integrations and custom secure frame headers, and like all of the additional enterprise features. In the end, ensure that as more and more people are getting online, you're actually protecting your business and ensuring that you can have a constant lead flow of customers without any interruptions. So what are your predictions around AI, SEO, and everything I've been discussing about websites in 2025? Again, those might be also visual things. So feel free to leave a comment down below, and also visit a link in the description for some free resources you can download on your own and learn a little bit more about websites and our process at Flow Ninja about how we approach building websites in Webflow.